If you told me that there was a medieval blacksmithing game coming out, I probably would have just laughed at you. It doesn't sound like my normal blood and guts type of game. And then I saw this trailer here, and I was like, okay, I absolutely need that medieval sword making game. It looks amazing. The game's called Bladesong, and I was really lucky that the developers, they sent me over a copy to play before their public test demo, which actually releases on February 3rd, and it's 100% free to play over on Steam. Now, Bladesong will have a campaign and story, but this is the tech demo, which means we get access to creative mode, which is like the Photoshop of sword design. It's really cool, and it's super chill and therapeutic. So I think the best way for me to show you guys what this game's all about is that we actually hop in Bladesong and I make a sword. And now I know people are going to start roasting me for my artistic ability in the comments. Well, put up and shut up, because from now till February 11th, sword making contest in my Discord. Whoever makes the best sword wins. Now, if you do enjoy the video, you should probably subscribe, as I cover a ton of medieval games on the channel. Alright, let's hop into Bladesong and make a sword. Alright, let's make a new blade here. We're going to click on the little plus. Now, your first time playing, a tutorial will pop up, but you don't need that because I'm going to teach you guys how to play. It's a little tricky. Alright, you got our little piece of metal here. This is what we're going to turn into our blade, obviously, but I'm going to start, and this is probably blasphemy to the real blacksmiths. I'm going to start over here on the hilt. So you got a ton of options over here, a ton of different materials that you can apply to your sword, and it's pretty easy to get this part out of the way. So we're gonna start with a hilt. Maybe we'll make like a great sword or a zweihander or something. Now we can adjust the size here by pressing S or W. So we're gonna give it a nice healthy hilt here. All right, and now we're gonna put our grips on, and you can actually put one grip after the other. So we're gonna start with like a little bit of a stubbier one here as our first grip, and we're gonna make it up. No, here. We're gonna make it a little bit bigger. All right. Now let's see. This one looks kind of cool. Let's add this twisted one over to the bottom. This will make it look like one of those historical zweihanders. It looks kind of cool, right? And we got a black guard here. Maybe we'll change that. Now we got some options for our pommels. And you look, it looks a little funny to me. I don't love that one. Let's see how this looks. Okay, I think that looks a little screwy too. Let's see. Oh, we can add just a cap. No, that's weird. Which one do I like better? I think I'm gonna like this. This is probably the one I'm gonna go with. Now, we do have runes, and we can change around materials here, so I'm not going to add any runes, but what I am going to do is let's change to brown leather here for our grips. That's kind of classic. And then, you know what we're going to do? We're going to go with, let's see what we got. I know onyx is here, some obsidian. We're going to go to an obsidian bottom, and then let's see how it looks with a polished brass hilt. A little too bright. Let's go with maybe, how about some steel? We can either do rushed or polished. How about some polished steel? I don't know. I think that looks so crazy there. We're gonna go that polished too. So under miscellaneous, we got all these little things that we can add on, little rivets, little spikes. So I'm gonna make my spike a bit bigger here. I'm gonna put it right on the cap of the sword. And look, there you go. And now I'm going to change it to match. Now we got kind of a spike blade here. And now I can do that in other spots too. So let me grab my spikes out. If I want to make this a really like weird looking spike blade, I can add a spike here. And then I can add another spike right over here. And now if I wanted to get crazy, I could go all up and down the pommel. I think it'll look kind of cool. What about if I put two smaller spikes? One down here. And one down here. Now, forgive me on symmetry. We're going for speed here. Let me zoom out a little bit. But yeah, that looks kind of cool, right, boys? I think that looks pretty sick. So now let's go to our blade, right? Because any medieval sword, we need a blade. Let me zoom out a little bit. So we're gonna go to draw out, and this is where we just basically define. Where we define, I can't speak English, we define how long our blade is gonna be. Alright, so this is gonna be like kind of a Zweihander greatsword. So we're gonna give it some good length here. Alright, so we're gonna broaden it here. And I'm gonna start with this like this. Then we're gonna just drag it out to the sides. And look at that nice little shape we got there. If you notice, okay, if I pull this all the way in, it'll do the whole blade, but I did this little curve here. So we're gonna be doing a broaden outside of this curve. Alright, so it looks like a nice little curve there where the blade's a little skinnier and then a little wider at the edge. I think it looks nice. Alright, now we can just keep going down the row of different things we can do, but what we should probably do is flatten our blade. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna add our point first. Let's put our point in. There we go, and now I can pull this up to make my point less kind of sharp. Right, or I can pull the point down to make the point extend from longer on the blade. So we can either go a real stabby weapon, or we could go kind of a mixed hybrid. We'll go with like a mixed hybrid. I think that, maybe a little bit more stabby than that. All right, I think that looks pretty solid. All right, now let's flatten our blade. Now, if you do something like this, you're not gonna flatten this part of the blade, right? So if I go to flatten now, and we look, I still have a thick bottom of the blade. All right. So I think that looks pretty decent. Makes for a nice little curve with what we have going on right now. I think that's good. I think that's good. But what you could do now, if you don't want that, is you take this and you pull it all the way up here, and then you'll just get a fully flattened blade. So let's just pull it down a slight tad, give it a little girth at the bottom. Now we just put a cross section on. You notice we get in nice and close. This is those little sides of the blade there to make it kind of look like look nice. We can extend this if we want to make the blade even longer, or we can come up all the way about to the top if we like to. Unfortunately, we can't get to the tip, but I think that looks pretty decent. Sorry, I'm learning the mouse controls as we go. Let me zoom out a little bit. Now, if we want to get that nice little line down the middle that a lot of swords have, we're going to go with fuller, and we're going to go smooth. And we're just going to drag up. And if you look now, we have a line of the whole thing, but we don't want to start there. We're going to pull it up into about here for our start. Yep, here we go. Now look, we got a nice little line now down the sword. Now we can make this even longer. And if we want to make it like kind of ease into itself, you pull these lines down here. Alright. Now what if we want to make our... Now let's add even a little bit more character to our blade. We're going to add flamboyance. We're going to add flamboyance on small. And now I can make this as long as I want. I'm going to go all the way down to the edge of the blade here. I'm going to shorten it, and we're going to just make the kind of intro to the blade here. If you look real closely, we're getting closely, we just put these jagged little edges here going up the start of the blade. I think that looks kind of cool. That's kind of a cool effect here. All right, let's finish off the sword. We're going to go to polished blade here. We're just going to pull up on our mouse. We now have just polished the full blade. It's looking pretty sick. Now we can go back if there's anything we want to change. We can go back over here. I can add, let's find an S rune for Strida. Can add some runes to the blade if I like. All right, so this is looking pretty sick to me. So let's finalize it up, right? We can go in our photo mode. We can change around to a scene that we want. Let's find which one looks good. Right. I think I kind of like this one. It looks pretty nice. It looks pretty clean here. We just click this button right here. We take a screenshot, and then you post it in my Discord to see if you win the competition. All right, guys. That's it for me in the sword making demo, or I want to say guide, but it's not really a guide because I'm only just starting in the game too. I would love to see what people who are more creative than me can come up with actually making a sword in this game. The options are almost limited. All right, guys, that's it. Champ out.